Nigeria, and we create a pathway for you to prepare for the 2019 general elections. Of course, our main thrust on this program is to get you to participate, to be part of the program. That is be part of democracy, be part of the process, and you don't have to cut yourself away. If you are not registered, unfortunately, you are not going to be a part of the process in the electoral platform that is just coming on. If you are registered and you have not picked up your voter card, and if you register between January and March, it is important for us to quickly remind you that you can quickly go to the area where you are registered, because your voter card is lying somewhere there, and you have the opportunity to be part of the process. For those who registered after March up to the time that this is August, when the windows were closed, the Independent National Electoral Commission will announce to us when those PVCs will be ready. But the most important thing is for you to participate. If you take a look at the records of the past, we progressed in error negatively between 2011 and 2015. More people came out to vote in 2011 than the number of people who came out to vote in 2015. About 34 million people came out to vote, although far from the total number of people who were registered. But unfortunately, in 2015, we got about 28 million people coming out of over 65 million people that came out to vote. Now we have well over 80 million people on the voter register as we speak now. How many of us are going to come out to vote? Are we going to be complaining and blaming government, blaming officials of government, the ineffectiveness of the system, while we on our own just sit down there and we do not participate in the process? Now, if you must know, I will let you know that not more than about 14 million people actually voted President Muhammadu Buhari to be in power. 14 million people. We are told that by demographics, those who study population, that out of a population of over 180 million people, there should be people who are above 18 years and above who should vote. Over 120 million of us. Now, out of this, only about 65 million people put their names down and got registered. And unfortunately still, of this figure, only about 28 million people came out to vote. And of the 28 million people, about 14 million people chose the president. So how do you see that the minority actually are the ones electing our leaders, and our leaders get elected each time by the minority few? So where are the others? Where are the other people? Were you one of those who sat idle in the last time and you did not come out to vote even when you had a PVC? Now we can change our mind. We can make some progress by going out. I've heard some people say vote will not count, but vote is counting. The Independent National Electoral Commission is doing everything possible to get the vote count. The progress we have made is enormous. We have made a lot of tremendous progress from where ballot papers were being snatched, figures were being duplicated and forged, to now where we have the card reader. In a scientific manner, we can determine. Look at the closeness of the elections in Osun State. If the vote don't count, we will not have such close marking of votes. But we need to do more. I agree that the Independent National Electoral Commission should do more, but we should be able to stand to criticize the government because we have voted. If we do not vote, if we do not take part in the system, we don't belong to any political party, all we do is just criticize, then we may not actually morally be qualified to criticize what the government is doing. Everyone may not vote, but let the majority of us take part in the process. The program is Politics Extra, and I have my colleagues in the house talking about Primong officials. One of them just came back from Kano in a short while ago, to attend a meeting of the Independent National Electoral Commission trying to mobilize for the elections. There was a one-day program between INEC and the CSOs. They call it the INEC Civil Society Organizations Dialogue that happened in Kano yesterday. We'll be hearing from Adaobi Obeabumo, who attended that program, what happened and how that can aid us to begin to prepare for the elections. And I also have Babashola, the head of Prime Monk's the coordinator of programs, he also here with Tobabashola is one person who has gone around in the civil society organizations, working all around, and is the one coordinating our programs for us. She will also be telling us what INEC is doing, how we are all our hands should be on the deck to get things on. But just before we come to all that, we'll also give you an update. The president just came back from France. Just came back from France and had a meeting, and we have a situation where the president met with Nigerians as usual. Each time the president of Nigeria goes out with to meet up in an international engagement, there's a creation of opportunity for Nigerians diaspora to meet with the president. It's commendable that this president is continuing that program. So you go out there, Nigerians, some of them are very, very anxious to know what is happening. They want to get to know what the progress is at home, what is all about, and it is one that we also want to begin to find out how they are answered. I am joined on this program now through phone by Festus Keyamo. Festus Keyamo is the director in charge of strategic communications at the campaign organization of President Muhammadu Buhari. He will be telling us exactly what the interaction was all about. Thank you for joining us on the program. Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the program. Now, the president met Nigerians in France. What did you see as the takeaway from that meeting?
Well, it's just another opportunity to tell the Nigerians abroad what the administration has been doing. There has been, at times, a dearth of information to Nigerians living abroad as to the achievements of this administration. The administration has achieved quite a lot with very little resources available to it. The president and this administration has achieved a lot in terms of roads, rail, and power. And of course, in terms of social investment programs, other infrastructural development, and all of that. So I think it's another opportunity for the president to sell his administration to the achievements of the administration to Nigerians in diaspora.
Yeah, I commended the president for keeping on to that culture of the president meeting Nigerians each time they go out. Some of the questions that were raised, particularly the one that the president has also been working on at home here, is the devolution of powers and restructuring. Again, the president, rather than explain to these Nigerians what he is doing, is blaming those who are campaigning for the restructuring, saying that they did not come out with a template. Has the president gotten a template? He should actually be explaining to Nigerians about what he is doing with how to. Because I know that there's a committee that is working and they submitted a report. Where are we with this issue of restructuring that keep recurring all the time?
You know, let me tell you this fact. Certain elements in the country have decided to use the issue of restructuring as nothing but a political sing-song. For them, when they are in power, they say nothing about restructuring. The moment they find themselves out of power, they begin to sing restructuring. So it is nothing but hypocrisy and half-heartedness that we'll be hearing. All this noise they hear about restructuring, it is not altruistic, it's not patriotic. There are certain elements who were in power for so many years, even as vice president. They never, at one time, as vice president, mentioned the word restructuring. He never wrote any memo to the National Assembly or to his boss at that time to talk about restructuring, about how they should restructure the country. You know, they never said anything. The moment they were out of power, they began to say all these things about restructuring. But let me tell you this straight away. The president himself is not a pretentious person. He doesn't tell this type of lies, white lies that they tell, that I will restructure in 6 months, I will restructure in 2 days, I will restructure in 1 year. He's not that type of person. Restructuring basically is a matter of constitutional amendment. Let nobody deceive you. I repeat, let nobody deceive you. Even if the president were to convene something like a referendum, or there is something like a referendum for people to vote as to where, how they want powers to devolve and the type level of devolution they want, there is no provision of referendum in the Constitution. There is no provision empowering the president to also, do anything of such to order a referendum. So where do we start from? Where we should start from is the National Assembly. If they want to make wholesale constitutional amendments to bring about restructuring of the country, the president has not said he will not sign any document. The president has not said he will not consider it.
But Keyamo, but the president himself is not initiating, he's not prepared to initiate it.
Look, listen. The point is that we are all Nigerians. The people talking about restructuring, they have people in the National Assembly.
No, we are not talking. We are not talking about. We are not talking about. We are not talking about those.
Let me tell you why the president cannot initiate it. Because the president must also feel the pulse of the representative of the people. The president, if the president wants to initiate it, what will he say should go to the Niger Delta region?
What happened? Keyamo, what happened to the promise in the manifesto of the APC? We talked about the devolution.
What the APC has done. That is what the APC. So why are you hitting it on the president? The APC actually set up a committee. That is what the APC has done. The APC set up a committee headed by El-Rufai that made wholesale proposal on restructuring, which submitted about early this year. But of course, as you know, policies are taking the head. There is nobody that can start a constitutional amendment at this last minute. Nobody that will succeed. So it's a waste of money, waste of time, waste of everything. So perhaps, since the document is now with the APC, and since the PDP is also saying they want restructuring, good enough. When the 9th Assembly takes off, I think we are in the 8th Assembly if I'm correct, or the 9th Assembly takes off, let both parties converge and begin the process. It's as simple as that. But why make a whole of something?
What I can take away from what the president has been saying, what you are also saying now, is that President Muhammadu Buhari is not interested in devolution of powers or interested in initiating anything that would cause restructuring in Nigeria until somebody else decides on it.
No, you are just misquoting me. Before the president can do that, he needs to feel the pulse of the people. How can he sit down in his bedroom and now say that this is what I want to propose? Has he felt the pulse of the people in Nigeria? What is the mechanism? What is the forum by which you can feel the pulse of people in Calabar, in Kaduna, in Sokoto and everywhere? How? So how can the president sit down and draft a bill and say, this is how I want to restructure? How?
So we are not expecting anything in the next 6 months, at least at the end of this.
How can we do it practically? How can we amend the constitution 3 months to an election? How?
Okay.
Practically how?
No, it's obvious that with the 3 years we have had now, the committee that was set up was just to satisfy the Nigerian people that.
In 16 years, did they restructure? In 16 years.
No, you keep going back to 15 years. We are talking of a president. We are talking of a president. We are talking of a president that was elected by the people.
Why? Oh, so the people in 16 years were not elected by the people? Not 16 years were not elected by the people?
But there was a promise. There was a promise by the APC. That's the difference.
The people who not restructure for 16 years now, and they are defending you, they want to restructure in 6 months. What basis do you have to believe them?
Okay. Thank you very much, Festus Keyamo. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Festus Keyamo there on the major question that was asked him by the Nigerians in the diaspora in France. What is happening? He went back to say that those who are clamoring for the restructuring of Nigeria don't have a template. I just tried to find out now if the president himself has a template. Obviously, he does not have a template, and the template he has is to, first of all, feed the mood of the people. According to Keyamo now, the president needs to go around, feed the mood of the people, and the committee appeared to have done some work and submitted a report. Those who are expecting the president to do anything meaningful about restructuring between now and May 29 next year will probably be disappointed. And those who are holding on to the manifesto of the APC, that they promised that there was going to be some measure of work on the devolution of powers, that will also be one that they will not get. But he has also said that well, as time goes on from next year, maybe when the next assembly comes, when the next dispensation comes, there could be some work that will be done. We now get it very clear that this president, this administration is not keen on restructuring, as it were. They are looking for the minds of Nigerians. They are sampling the views of the people. The committee has worked, and they are trying to gauge the mind before they know what they want to do. The other item of the reminder of what we have, the top stories we have to remind you today, is that the National Assembly again today adjourned without much of explanations. I mean, deep explanations. Now, what happened today is that the Senate, not the National Assembly, please, just the Senate could not form a quorum. They will need a quorum of about 34, 35 senators out of the 109 to be able to sit. But today they had about 25 and they could not sit, so they had to adjourn. And there were some of them who were angry that if they knew, they would probably not leave their bases where they are doing campaigns to come to Abuja. Now they have come and they couldn't form a quorum. Now there are a lot of challenges, democratic challenges with this, where you have the Senate being unable to form a quorum. Many Nigerians will be very angry. They will say, are these the same senators who take very big size of allowances? Are their allowances going to be cut to size? But they say they are working at committees levels and they have a lot of work to do. But unfortunately, the MTEF document is in abeyance. They cannot work on it, and without the MTEF, we cannot properly formulate the provisions of the next year's budget, because the document submitted to the Senate by the president ought to be quickly, expeditiously dealt with. Unfortunately, the Senate, they cannot form a quorum. I don't know if you heard me very well. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria cannot form a quorum to sit. Some of them have lost out in the primaries. They are angry. They are already winding up. Some of them don't want to waste their time anymore. Some of them won the primaries and they are busy in their campaigns already, doing their own meetings and walking around. So what happens by next month, when campaigns are full blown? Maybe we just take the padlock and just padlock the National Assembly, and they will want the elections are over. Those who will win, who will still want to come back. But this is the first time we are seeing this repeated. We have had issues in the past, but they were very minor. But this time around, it's going to be a major one. I think even the Senate leader, Milawa, said it might likely to be recurring because there are so many reasons why the quorum couldn't be formed today. About two of them I have told you. Those who lost out in the primaries are not quite settled. Those who won are battling with the competition on how to get re-elected, and a lot of other things that we probably are not told. The Senate president was himself there today talking about Bukola Saraki, but unfortunately he couldn't find members, his colleagues, to sit down and do some meaningful work for which they are paid. It's Politics Extra on Kiss FM, and let me just bring in now. Let's go to the nitty-gritty of the preparations for the 2019 elections. I told you that a meeting just ended yesterday, a one-day meeting between the Independent National Electoral Commission and the civil society organizations in a dialogue in Kano to begin to map out the road towards 2019 so that those mistakes that be learned in the past in the conduct of elections can be corrected. And we on Primark, the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, are keen on monitoring and finding out exactly what went wrong in the past and how they can be corrected. And we're glad that we're part of that program. Adaobi Obiabumo was there. Now tell us what happened.
Thank you. The one-day INEC CSO dialogue was organized by the European Center for Electoral Support, which is in line with the European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria, which aims to contribute to the reinforcement of Nigeria through nation building, strong and effective legitimate democratic institutions. The European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria is made up of 5 components. One of them is support to the Independent National Electoral Commission. One of the objectives of the one-day dialogue was to evaluate and fortify the engagement of CSOs with INEC, especially in view of the forthcoming elections, and also to facilitate discussions and share information on existing and emerging trends towards the electoral process.
Okay, now we have CSO playing a very important role at all elections, whether in Nigeria or abroad. And Babs, I would just want to call you Babs here. You've been around election monitoring, election observation, reports from these civil society groups, their suggestions. I have attended a couple of meetings with INEC representing Primark the last couple of months, preparatory for the elections and all those details. How important are the CSOs?
Yeah, I think the synergy is very, very important, given the fact that the election is very close, and bearing in mind that prior to now, there are timelines for election management body, which is INEC in Nigeria, to carry out XYZ. Part of what you are doing is very much in line, So synergizing with civil society organizations, to actually report to them, is one of the things that is very, very much important that we need to embrace. And at the same time, hearing from the civil society and other stakeholders as well. As far as election is concerned, security is one big issue. Voter education is one big issue. Given the fact that when you were talking earlier, you talked about the fact that about 14 million Nigerians out of over 70 registered voters, actually came out to decide the last presidential election, which to me is not good enough. If you ask,
well, if you are even talking about those who are registered, if you take a look at the number of people of voting age, that is 18 years and above, that should be over 120 million out of 180 million people, you will know that the minority are actually the ones. So the CSOs should be in a place to begin to join hands for the mobilization of the people to go and vote.
Yes, that is very, very important. So that's part of what I believe they must be doing yesterday. At the same time, they need to evaluate the security situation, of Nigeria. If there is insecurity, it's going to be very impossible for us to have an election. So they need to identify the flashpoints, the hotspots, and come up, with different strategies as to how election is going to happen in that place, as to how they are going to bring about a lasting solution vis-a-vis making sure that they create an enabling environment even ahead of election. So these are the kind of things I'm very sure they must be talking about during that meeting that happened in Kano yesterday.
Now, what were the takeaway that will be?
One of the issues raised was the issue of vote buying. CSOs.
I can imagine that is going to be, and it's a very, we might be laughing over it, but it's a very, very serious matter. Vote buying reduces the vote, reduces the humanity in the vote, it reduces the quality of the vote. It makes the entire process a merchandise and a commercial enterprise. And I believe the CSOs, there were suggestions that were made before that phones should not be allowed in phone booths. Not that you cannot take phones to the voting points or voting centers, but when you are going into the polling booth, where you now take the picture of the party that you voted for, so that you can go and collect some money when you finish. That is where I don't know if there are other ways that people do we say don't come to don't come to the polling center. If is there any way to identify in Osun State? white handkerchiefs were used to tie the hands of, they tie hands around supporters. If you tie a white handkerchief, they know that you are the supporter of a particular person. And before INEC could know that that was a game, the thing was over. So how do we beat these politicians over some of these things? Were this part of?
Basically through sensitization of the masses. Advocacy visits to religious leaders, traditional leaders who know these people. Were asked to continuous advocacy visits, sensitizing the masses of the need not to sell their votes. We also looked at the legal framework of elections in Nigeria, which includes the Constitution, Electoral Act, and election guidelines as issued by the Commission. CSOs were advised to acquaint themselves with these laws so as to be able to advise the masses properly.
Yeah, you were going to say something.
Yeah, as much as we want to place this burden on INEC, I think the security have a larger chunk of, responsibility to share with INEC as well. Because ordinarily, even in Osun, people were arrested, but at the end of the day, we've not had anything, that happened, to them. There's nothing like prosecution, going on. They need to actually, prosecute people.
That's deterrent, yeah.
So that it can serve as a deterrent.
That was one of the recommendations.
Yeah, secondly, we need high-powered sensitization, just like you said. We need to let people know that if you take money to sell your conscience to go and vote, for a particular political party or candidate against your conscience, irrespective of any amount given to you, it means you have mortgaged whatever you are going to gain in 4 years.
Yeah.
A situation whereby people were given 1,000 naira, at maximum 4,000 naira, just like
I saw 4,000 I first saw 4,000 in Edo State. In Edo State, there were monies distributed. There were also monies in Osun and in Ekiti. It is gaining currency that people can just throw away this. But with the kind of campaign that are ongoing, people are beginning to realize that 4,000 naira for 4 years does not mean the roads, hospitals, and good development. Olushola Babalola is the program coordinator of Primog, and Adaobi Obiabumo is the senior programs officer at Primog. And that's how we're going to be wrapping up the program. But we must quickly remind you that on Thursday when we come back, we have Politics Extra, and we'll be also trading on some of the fast mobilizing you, telling you what to do. And if you have to reach us, you can quickly send your information to us to Politics Extra at primog.org. Primog is PRIMORG.org. That is primog.org. And you can also, that is Politics Extra at primog.org. And 090-2265-6167 is the number to reach us. 090-2265-6167. It's also a WhatsApp number. You can drop a message for us. And if you want to be part of this program, you want to synergize with us, you can reach us and let us know. You can also drop information on my own website, info@agbonsuremi.com, if that is the fast way to reach us. And we'll be able to work together as we climb this ladder to 2019 in the election that all of us should be part of. And also visit our website, primog.com, and primog.com or primog.org. Any of them, you log in, you get to us, and you'll be able to fill in the form for volunteer. Share with us what you want us to do and how you think we should do elections well. Share your information with us. We'll come back on Thursday. My name is Okiria Agbonsuremi. Thanks for staying with us.